Not a Buddha, it is a Nyatingoke. Hold it in your palm, and its power can shake an entire city. Those who know its secret shall prosper, those who don't shall pass it by. Why are people walking the path of the occult so desperate to lay their hands on it? Who created these objects, and for what dark or divine purpose? Hello and welcome to all Evening Chronicles viewers. Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most thrilling, mysterious supernatural events and historical legends. Today, we are diving deep into a bizarre occult artifact that masters of the esoteric are desperately hunting for. Before we begin, if you haven't liked and subscribed to our channel yet, please hit that button now. And now, let us begin part 1 of the mystery of the Nyatingoke. Not a Buddha, it is a Nyatingoke. Hold it in your palm, and its power can shake an entire city. Those who know its secret shall prosper, those who don't shall pass it by. Anyone interested in the Burmese occult has likely heard these legendary verses. They speak of the notorious and highly coveted artifact known as the Nyatingoke. Why are people walking the path of the occult so desperate to lay their hands on it? Who created these objects, and for what dark or divine purpose? As the saying goes, not a Buddha, it is a Nyatingoke. The physical appearance of a Nyatingoke is strikingly similar to an authentic Buddha image. To an untrained eye, anyone would easily mistake it for a sacred Buddha statue and bow their head in worship. If we look back into the history of the Nyatingoke, these objects did not just appear yesterday. They are ancient alchemical artifacts that have existed since prehistoric eras. According to some historical accounts, they were small icons worshipped by a specific tribe during the reign of King Anurata. Whatever their origin may be, one thing is absolutely certain: a Nyatingoke is definitely not a Buddha. The lore surrounding these artifacts is vast, and the theories shared by knowledgeable masters vary wildly. As they say, every village has its own tune. Therefore, we have gathered the most precise, verified, and credible facts out of all available sources to present to you today. This object is far more than a simple lucky charm, it is a profound alchemical relic. It is primarily sought after by masters practicing the path of Agiya, alchemical science. Today in Myanmar, counterfeits are everywhere, and authentic ones are bought for astronomical prices. It is said that if you possess a genuine Nyatingoke, it can grant your every wish. Some even claim it can accomplish the impossible. When reviewing the history of Nyatingoke in Myanmar, some say there are 13 in existence, others say 12, and some believe only 5 or 6 remain. However, researchers who have dedicated their lives to studying this history state that there are only 2 authentic Nyatingokes left in the entire country. And even then, one is reportedly enshrined forever as a relic inside a pagoda in a remote region. I have encountered many objects claimed to be Nyatingokes. Personally, I have never tested whether they were real or fake. However, I will show a real Nyatingoke that I had the rare opportunity to handle myself at the end of this video for your knowledge. In terms of dimensions, it is barely 4 centimeters tall, just about the size of a closed fist. If you place a Nyatingoke figurine on a shrine, mistaking it for a Buddha statue, and light incense and candles to worship it, the figurine will mysteriously turn its face away or tilt backward. From an occult perspective, this is a miraculous phenomenon. However, if we look at it through science or elemental physics, it isn't all that strange. The heat from the candles placed before the image reacts negatively with the alchemical mercury used to forge the Nyatingoke. When mercury meets fire, the elements naturally repel each other, much like opposing magnetic poles pushing apart. These figurines are forged using solidified alchemical mercury, and they derive their power from it. Nyatingokes are categorized into 2 types, white and red. If the image was forged by bonding gold with mercury, the metal gives off a white sheen. If silver is bonded with mercury, the figurine radiates a red hue. On some of these figures, you can see a small alchemical bowl, capable of holding about 5 tikals of weight, attached to the base. The unique markers of a true Nyatingoke include distinct palm prints under the pedestal, sacred alchemical diagrams engraved on its back or sides, and sometimes specific protective inscriptions meant to ensure prosperity. Another extraordinary feature is that if we take a Nyatingoke, treat it like an alchemical metal, and place it inside a crucible to melt it under intense heat, it will survive this process up to 3 consecutive times. No matter which crucible you throw it into, it will melt down and seamlessly solidify right back into its exact original, flawless form. However, if you attempt this a 4th time, surpassing the 3-time limit, the spell breaks and the artifact will be permanently destroyed. There are other, more grounded ways to test its authenticity in the physical world. For instance, if you place a genuine Nyatingoke on top of the dashboard of a running vehicle, the car engine will instantly shut down. The entire electrical and mechanical system will completely die, and the vehicle cannot be restarted until the artifact is removed. Another method involves using a vessel of fresh water. If you drop the Nyatingoke figurine into the water, it usually remains perfectly still. But if it begins to tilt, lean, or spin slowly on its own, it is reacting to your spiritual energy. At that exact moment, you must make a solemn vow and say out loud, "If you and I are truly destined by fate to be together, show me a clear sign." If the Nyatingoke responds by plunging straight and deeply into the bottom of the water after those words, it signifies that the artifact cannot be bought or sold for profit. It has chosen you, declaring, "I belong only to you." You can also test the relic by taking a consecrated needle, known as a thymine needle, and trying to pierce the head of the figurine. If it is a genuine Nyatingoke, the needle will never pierce the metal. As I mentioned in the first part, it will feel like pushing against opposing magnetic forces. An invisible barrier will continuously deflect the needle, ensuring it never touches the head. If the needle easily pierces or scratches the surface, it is undeniably a fake. In the realm of Burmese alchemy, between white dead Mercury, Piata Weizza, and red dead Mercury, Piata Anitha, the white Mercury variant holds a far superior spiritual charge. However, a Nyatingoke made from pure white dead Mercury is exceptionally rare. When one is found, it is reverently called a white Nyatingoke. For example, if you hold this white figurine in your palm and command it with total focus, "Mong Fayu, by the fastest means possible, make sure you return to me without fail," the target of your command will inevitably return to you the very next day, exactly as dictated. In essence, it acts as a wish-fulfilling entity. However, the keeper must maintain strict moral virtue and deep meditative concentration to wield this power safely. The authentic physical traits of a Nyatingoke are often judged by the presence of the 9 mirrors, or specific alchemical symbols. Others base their judgment solely on the presence of the master's unique thumbprint pressed into the base of the pedestal. But as I stated before, the ultimate proof lies in its molecular memory, melting the figurine into liquid metal only to watch it cool back down into its original shape. If it fails to reform, it is an imitation. Because these are highly sacred objects of power, using them for religious duties and sasana, Buddhist missionary, work multiplies their potency immensely. In fact, the ancient masters created them with this exact noble intention in mind. For ordinary people, a Nyatingoke provides immense power in Pyathidae, attracting love and favor, and Danathidae, manifesting wealth and business prosperity. But for those actively walking the path of the occult, its capabilities are beyond words, serving its master as boundlessly as their knowledge allows. However, there is a severe warning that comes with this relic. If you happen to acquire a genuine Nyatingoke and try to trade or sell it out of pure greed, a terrible curse will strike. The family of the seller will face sudden spiritual backlash, bringing ruin and severe misfortune upon the entire household. It is a textbook example of the old esoteric proverb, used correctly, it is a cure, used blindly, it is a curse. An occult artifact of this magnitude is not a common commodity like gold, silver, or precious gems that you can simply peddle in the open market. Even unverified pieces that floating around the market fetch hundreds of thousands to millions of chats based purely on speculation. To properly trade a genuine Nyatingoke, a mystical vetting process takes place. For example, if I intend to transfer ownership to someone, the face and exact appearance of that specific buyer will appear vividly in my dreams before I ever meet them in person. The next day, when the buyer arrives, their face will perfectly match the stranger from the dream. If this happens, the trade is deemed spiritually aligned, and it is safe to proceed. If no such dream occurs, one must proceed with extreme caution. Furthermore, there is a notorious trick used by deceptive sellers. Because occult artifacts must be tested before purchase, some fakes are rigged to perform under specific conditions but go completely dead and powerless when the buyer takes them home. A true master, however, does not rely on cheap tricks. They judge the authenticity purely through their own spiritual intuition. Some expert masters test the artifact by holding a flame near the shoulder of the figurine. When illuminated by firelight, a genuine Nyatingoke is said to project a faint, radiant rainbow halo around its upper body. Let us clarify the specific way the robes are draped on a Nyatingoke. Traditional Buddha images always have the sacred robe draped over the left shoulder. But if you look closely at a Nyatingoke, the robe is distinctly draped over the right shoulder. Whether it is the ekathi, upper robe, resting on the right shoulder, the thinbang, inner robe, secured higher up the waist, or the dukoke, folded outer robe, placed over the shoulder, this completely reverses monastic law. From the Buddha and Paksha Buddhas to the entire Sangha, no holy entity drapes their robes to the right. This unique design perfectly mirrors the ancient prophecy, not a Buddha, it is a Nyatingoke. Additionally, following the verse, hold it in your palm, a true specimen is precisely the size of a single closed fist. If it exceeds this size, it is not an alchemical Nyatingoke, but rather a standard Assein, ritualistic, Buddha image. This brings us to the most fascinating question: who actually created these objects? The creators were not ordinary men, they were high-order alchemists and Weizzas, immortal spiritual masters, of the higher path. When we humans want to remember something, we write it down in a notebook or save it in our phones so we can easily retrieve it later. Therefore, the viral videos online showing distorted figurines with inverted hands, backward-facing palms, or grotesque features are completely fake. Those are poorly made replicas or low-level ritual icons. A true Nyatingoke maintains a highly refined, serene, and perfectly proportioned aesthetic, looking every bit as elegant as a sacred Buddha image. While many believe that a Nyatingoke must have intricate diagrams and thumbprints to be real, clean variants without any external markings exist as well. It makes one wonder, why did the creator press their thumbprint into the base? Was it a signature? Or was it an alchemical biometric lock, allowing only the reincarnated master with the exact matching fingerprint to unlock the sphere's true power? The physical shell is merely a container, the alchemical ball inside is the true treasure. This is why the prophecy warns, those who know its secret shall prosper, those who don't shall pass it by. The fact that these relics are appearing in the human realm today suggests that their original creators, the Weizzas who forged them, have transitioned to higher celestial planes and chosen not to reincarnate back into human form. If they had returned, these artifacts would have vanished from our sight long ago, safely reclaimed by their rightful owners. Because so many have already been retrieved by their masters across the centuries, the remaining ownerless Nyatingokes are incredibly few, making them one of the rarest esoteric treasures on Earth. Ultimately, if a Nyatingoke falls into the hands of a true practitioner of the higher path, it becomes an unparalleled tool for Buddhist missionary work and spiritual merit. But if it falls into the hands of someone blinded by malicious greed, it can become a dangerous tool of destruction. According to the higher Weizzas, these relics are spiritually guided to find their way only to those destined to serve humanity, ensuring their immense power is used strictly to illuminate the path of righteousness. And that, viewers, is the absolute truth behind the legend of the Nyatingoke. If I were to somehow cross paths with a genuine Nyatingoke and inherit the ancient alchemical sphere sealed within, I often wonder what I would do with it. Would I truly have the strength to use it solely for the greater good? Or would I succumb to the intense greed that consumes so many others? To be honest, I cannot say for certain. What about you, my friends? If you were to suddenly inherit this legendary alchemical ball, what would you do with its boundless power? I would love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Myanmar's esoteric history, please like, share, and support our channel. Let us know in the comments what mystery you want us to uncover next. We will see you in the next episode. Until then, have a mysterious and peaceful night.